with today's session. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good week since I've seen you last, and we're ready for this session here today. Our mindful movement sessions, as always, are meant to be relaxing, but also at the same time there may be some movements that you can do or can't do. Just do the best you can to the best of your ability. And if there's anything you need to adjust or modify to make it so you can do it, feel free to either make those modifications yourself, or if I can see yourself on screen, I can give those adaptations, and I'll give those general ones as well, as I always do. If you need to take any break or any rest during this session, always make sure that you know that you can, whether that's just to have a drink or just to have a break for a second. That is not a problem for this. It's your session. I'm just here to guide you the best that I can. With that out of the way, let's get started with getting ourselves in a nice relaxed position. So get yourself nice and comfortable, however that looks for you. And we'll start with some nice breathing, going in through the nose, out through the mouth, and continue that breathing. At some point over the next couple of breaths, you can close your eyes down and bring that attention inwards, especially with the breathing here. So nice deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and that's all the focus needs to be on right now, is that breathing. That will help our nervous system to calm down, to relax, and to bring that focus inwards, and it starts to naturally block out the noise around us and helps us to just calm everything down. As you're doing that, notice how the breathing is affecting your body. Notice how the lungs inflate and puff the chest up and out as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, notice how the shoulders relax down, everything just falls back into position, and just notice that cycle between breathing in and breathing out. Now we're here. Let's first of all thank ourselves for turning up today. Often turning up is the hardest part of having a continuous, consistent workout program. Whether it is relaxing sessions like this or whether it's the more intense stuff we do, turning up is the first hurdle. So thank yourself for doing that, but also remind yourself that now we're here, that in the next hour we're going to stay focused on the breathing, on the movements, of all the things we're going to do. And also remind ourselves that if we do find our mind wandering and thinking about other things during the session, that's absolutely fine and perfectly normal. But when we catch ourselves doing that, we can bring that focus in and pay more attention to the thing that we're doing in that moment. Keep that breathing going, but start to sit up nice and tall here. So have nice posture sitting up tall. Almost imagine you've got a string going through your head and it's pulling you upwards towards the ceiling. And when you're ready to, you can open up your eyes, and as you breathe in now, let's shrug the shoulders up. And as you breathe out, we're going to relax them down. As you breathe in and shrug it up, make sure we squeeze those muscles. And as we bring them down, relax them. And cycle through the two. There's up and squeeze, down and relax. Let's do the same, but instead of up and down, we're going to go back and forth now. So as we breathe in, we squeeze those shoulder blades together at the back, and as we breathe out, we push them forwards and go back and forth between the two here. Yeah, let's just go into some shoulder rotations, just rotating it around nice and gentle and controlled here. And change direction. And let's start to open up a little bit more by putting the hands on our shoulders and getting those elbows going around. Remember, the hands don't need to be locked onto the shoulders, they can sort of glide around in that area. The main focus here is getting the elbows going around. If you need to do it double arm, or if you need to do it single arm, or alternating arms, whichever one works for you, just go with that one. And just do the best circles you can with the elbows here. Let's change direction. Now let's take both arms here. We're going to swing them back behind us and then bring them forward, reaching up and then back down. And as we do this, just pause at the top. We feel a little bit of a stretch as we do so. And as we come down, maybe pause as our arms come behind us just for a second and go back and forth between the two. If you need to here for balance reasons, you can do this single arm instead, but just reaching up, feel that stretch there and bring it back down. Feel it a little bit behind us. We won't feel it quite as much behind. That's it, good work. Let's ease out of that. Let's do just a couple of shoulder rotations just to relax out of that one. And then we'll go into the next view when we bring it over to one side. Again, pause with just do a short pause. I know we usually do about 3 to 5 seconds, but this time we do just reaching over, pause for a second, and then bring it back over to the other side. Nice work. And then we go into the next one here where we reach back behind us with both hands and then reach forwards with one, bringing it back, open up that chest and bring the other arm forwards here and bring it back again. I'll come to the side again, so open up the chest, feel that stretch across there, reaching forwards, bringing it back, and then reaching forwards with the other arm and bringing it back. Excellent. And then we go into the next one, which is doing our rotator cuff. So we can either have the elbows tucked into the side and go out and in, or you can bring the elbows up and rotate up and down from there. If you can do both of them, I recommend doing this one with the arms up. But if you can't do this one with the arms up, you can just bring those elbows down instead. But feel a little bit of a stretch there on the external rotation and the internal rotation, maybe a little bit as well. That's good. Well, let's just do some shoulder rotations again to ease out of that. Good work. Okay, let's go into some more breathing movements again, but this time we're going to bring the arms into it. So we'll start with some breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth to start with. Let's just set ourselves up here. And as you breathe in, you bring the hands up. As you breathe out, we're going to push them down. And you can rotate at the top. So palms up as you breathe in and bring it up to shoulder height. Rotate those hands, and as you breathe out, push down. Good work. Now as you breathe in, going to bring it up, and as you breathe out, we're going to push forwards and then relax them down. Breathe in, breathe out. If you need to, for balance reasons, feel free to bring the hands up and then you push one forwards if that's all you're able to do. Or you do both arms. Bless me. I know, I don't have very strong sneezes. Anybody else who's a quadriplegic will understand. Sneezes are our strong point. Okay, we're going to continue that sort of theme, but instead of going forwards this time, we're going to breathe in, bring it up, and then push out to the side, and then bring it down. Breathing in, breathing out. Good work. And we're going to change up again here. We're going to breathe in, and then when we get to here, we're going to push up, out, and around. So breathe in on the way up, and then breathe out all the way up and around. So it'll be a long out breath on this one. Just do it nice and controlled. Go into one little bit of different. I just got a spasm, 1 second. There we go. All right, we're going to go into the one where we bring hands together in a prayer position and bring it up, out, and around. So kind of a smaller version of what we just did on that previous exercise. But as we come up through the middle, try and keep those elbows as close as you can throughout that movement, and then open up, out and around, and bring it back to the beginning again, and just keep going through that nice and fluid. Don't worry if you can't bring the elbows right together, but just get them as close as you can as you come up and through. That's just going to give a bit of a stretch in the shoulder area as you do so. let's change the direction now. So go the opposite way around. Bring the hands together in a prayer position up as high as you can, and then bring it down through the middle. Good work, bringing it down into the middle. Let's just do some shoulder rotations again. Change direction. And ease out of that. Let's give ourselves a little hydration break, and then we'll come back with our spinal mobility work here. I was hoping you would be able to see my background. See, it's quite nice. If I go like that, you can see it's always all the wilderness. But if I do that, you can't see me. And seeing as it's an exercise class, it's probably quite important that you see the person giving the instructions. I'll just be a silhouette otherwise. But it's very nice out there. It's on 2.5 acres of land, this property, and it's like on top of a hill, so you can see really far into the distance. It's really nice. So very lucky to be able to stay here. You get all sorts of creatures, as Australia is known for. The koalas, the kangaroos, and all the spiders and snakes, which I'm less fond of seeing. There we go. Alrighty, so had our little hydration break. Let's move into some of our spinal mobility now. So let's first of all get ourselves in a nice comfortable position again, seeing as we've adjusted. And we start to bring that focus in again first. So nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just reset ourselves here. Do a couple more breaths like that. And then when we're ready to, let's go into our extension and flexion through the neck here, looking up and looking down. And as we said a couple of times in the past, but just to reiterate it here, we don't want to just look up and down. We almost want to curl up and curl down. And that's just going to help to get our vertebrae going through its full range of motion that it's designed to. Or at least the full range of motion that you're able to this time. Nice work, just keep it fluid, keep it moving. And the next time you find yourself looking down, let's hold that position and just let gravity take over a little bit. Try and make sure that chin is tucked in. That's going to help curl the head over a little bit more. Elongate that spine through the neck here. We're going to add in a little bit extra here today, so keep that head looking down. And I just want you to rock from there side to side a little bit. So keep it looking down and just rock the head side to side. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little movement side to side. And we're just introducing a little extra stretch as we do, rocking side to side here. Good, let's ease out of that. Let's do a couple of looking up and downs, flexion extensions, and then the next time you find yourself looking up, let's hold that position. And remember, we can take this a little bit further if we need to. So first of all, keep the mouth closed as you're looking up. That's going to increase the stretch through the front of the neck. The next option here is to put the hand on the sternum, at the top of the rib cage area, and gently pull the skin area down as you're looking up, as you're keeping that mouth closed, and that's just going to help elongate the front of the neck there and stretch it out. And again, on this one, we're going to hold that position where you are, but we just do a little rock side to side as we're doing it. So it's just a small progression on what we usually do. And don't worry about going really far on this, just a little side to side movement there. And you're feeling your neck, the exact muscles and tendons that are being stretched as you do this. And then let's ease out of it. Do a couple of looking up and downs. As we ease out of it. Good, let's go into our rotation neck. So looking one side and then the other, back and forth between the two. Nice and gentle movements. I will say we are adding these little extra bits in here today. These are going to be a bit more of an intense stretch. That's not something that I would necessarily do frequently, because I always say about doing these neck mobility movements on a regular basis, but doing the basic movements, yes, just the looking up, down, left and right and all that stuff is all very good, but the stretching, we don't need to do that on a daily basis or even a frequent, but even just doing that once or maybe twice a week is good. But that even more intense stretch, because we're not used to it, you may feel tomorrow that your neck is just a little bit on the sorer side, just because we've taken it through a longer range of motion that it's designed to. But it should heal up nicely and feel good next time. And the more we do these stretches, the better the neck feels in the long run and the healthier it feels. And the more we stretch it and that, the less you'll feel it the next day. So don't worry too much if you're feeling a little bit sore in the neck. Okay, next time you find yourself looking to the left, let's hold that position. If we want to increase that stretch a little bit more, we can take our left hand as we're looking to the left onto our right collarbone area and pull it diagonally downwards towards our right armpit. I'm going to repeat that again. So we're looking to the left, left hand, our right collarbone area, and pull sort of the skin, the muscles here on the neck, diagonally downwards towards that right armpit. Have a play around with your hand position until you find the one that works for you. Make sure the mouth is closed as well. That's really going to help with the stretch. And this one is a hard one to find, that stretch, so don't worry if you're not quite getting it. Have a play around. You'll soon feel the stretch when you're in the right position. Good. So in this position, we're looking around to the side. Again, we're going to extend this stretch a little bit more. We're just going to look up and look down in that position. So we're looking to the side. You can either increase the stretch or not using the hand on the collarbone, but either way we can look up and down whilst our head's rotated to the side. And it's just going to increase that stretch there. Especially looking up, it might be quite intense, so just take it easy. Let's ease out of it. Do a couple of lefts and rights. And the next time you find yourself looking to the right, let's hold that there. And then if you want to increase that stretch, you can bring that right hand onto the left collarbone and pull that diagonally downwards while keeping the mouth closed. And again, if you want to take it a little bit further, you can do looking up and down. But remember, this is quite an intense stretch here, so just take it easy. Okay, let's ease out of that one. Let's do just a couple of looking lefts and rights. And then ease out of that. Let's go into our lateral flexion now. So that's where we bring one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other, and back and forth between the two. Good work. When we find our left ear on our left shoulder, or close to it at least, we can rest it there. We take our right arm and we drop it downwards here, or behind us. The option's up to you. I'll say that again. So left ear towards the left shoulder. Right arm can either stay on the lap if that's enough of a stretch. It can drop down to the side if you need to increase it a little bit more. Or if you want a slightly different one, you can bring that arm behind you. Either way, we should feel a stretch on that right side of the neck. Just feeling that stretch there. Good. If you want to take it a little bit further on this one, we go into a bit of a nod. So just bring the chin down to the chest as you're in that laterally flexed position, and then back behind us. And then we just go back and forth between the two. And especially when we come forwards into the flexion on this one, you'll probably get quite a deep, intense stretch. Let's ease out of that one. We'll do a couple of lefts and rights again. And then this time, let's bring the right ear to the right shoulder and hold that position again. You can have the arm on the lap, the left arm on the lap, or down by your side, or behind you, whichever works for you. And then when you're ready to, you can start with the nodding as your head is over to the side. Ease out of it there, good work. Just have a little feel with your neck, you can move it around and just see how it feels. You probably feel like it's quite easy to move it, but it could also feel just a little bit sensitive from those stretches, so just be careful with it. It's just good to see that effect of how the stretching helps there. Good. All right, let's go through the rest of our spine now. We'll start with the flexion extension, and we go back and forth between the two. So flexing down, curling over like a shrimp, and then arching back like a high jumper, and going back and forth between the two here. Nice and controlled. And just start off with small movements, and you can build into it as you go into the set here. And now this is a movement that I always say to do it on a regular basis, but in all honesty, I do this as often as I can, even throughout the day if I'm sat for a long time, like in one particular position, whether it's like I'm working on the laptop or if I'm watching TV or if I'm in the car, then I just do a couple of flexion extensions. I do a couple of rotations usually as well. If I'm able to, I can try and do the lateral flexion, but it just helps just to keep that spine mobile and keep it healthy. But it also helps just to relax this whole like torso spinal column off as well. Because when we stay in those positions for a while, so all the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons kind of like begin to almost seize up. So what happens then is that you get that increased pain, you get that discomfort, you just feel like you're sort of a bit stuck. So doing these movements, just flowing between the different movements here. And I wouldn't do it for as long as I am during the sessions. I'd maybe just do 2 or 3 in each position. But that just helps just to keep it relaxed, keep it mobile, and keep it healthy. It does make a huge difference to how I'm feeling in that moment. Yeah, let's go into the rotation now. So we go around to one side, around to the other, and back and forth. It really helps with my spasms as well, I find, doing these movements. Because as I start off doing it, they're quite intense. They want to like kind of protect me from the movement. But the more I sort of get into it, relax, they start to ease off. And they tend to be more relaxed for a longer period of time. And it's one of the reasons I always feel not too great after a long flight. Obviously there's lots of reasons, but one of the reasons is I feel more like tight and seized up because I'm not quite able to get into the positions in the aeroplane seat to be able to do this. But I try and do as much of it as I can, try and keep my body moving as much as it can on the aeroplane. Good, then let's go into some lateral flexion. That's reaching down to one side, reaching down to the other. And as always with this, try not to lean forwards as you come down. Try and almost imagine you're between two panes of glass. You're slipping in between the two. Yeah, and let's come round in a whirlpool now. Let's change direction. ease out of it there. Good. We're going to finish off today with a little bit of wrist work. So first what we're going to do is just warm up our wrists, then we're going to go into some stretching, okay? So to start with, like we have in the past with our wrist movements, just move them round and just get things nice and mobile. And this is going to be important whether you're a manual wheelchair user, a power wheelchair user, if you're someone that uses a computer a lot or a phone a lot, whatever it may be. We do use our hands and our wrists quite regularly in our day-to-day lives, so we're just going to give them some attention here at the end of this session. So just mobilizing it around, getting it moving. You'll notice as you get into it, they start to move a little bit easier. That's good. Let's change direction, which can sometimes be a little bit weird to try and change the direction. We're just going to get it moving. Okay, good. Let's a bit more warmed up now. We'll get into some of our stretches. So to do this, we go into a prayer position first of all with our hands, like so. And from here, we're going to rotate it forwards and back up and go right the way as far in both directions as you can. If you are like myself and you can't quite open your fingers all the way, just do the best you can, even if it's with a closed fist. Coming right the way around, either way. You'll get little bits of a stretch. Not a huge amount, but this is the more subtle of the stretches that we do. If you need to rest as well on the lap as you're doing it, that's another option. Good work. Let's keep it in that prayer position here, and then from here what we're going to do is just try and raise one elbow up, only a slight amount, and then the other one up. Try and keep the palms together as you do so. You feel a little bit more of an intense stretch by trying to keep those palms together as you breeze the elbow up, one side and then the other. It's not going to be a huge amount, but it's going to be just a little bit more intense than what we did previously. Good work. Let's go into the reverse one now. So what we do with this one is bring the hands together, so the back of the hands together, and then again bring that through one way and then the other. It's not going to be a huge range of motion, and again you can rest your arms down if you need to, but it's going rocking back and forth, and we're just stretching on the other side now. Just take it nice and easy on this. That's good work, everybody. Alrighty, on the last one here, what we're going to do is going to have both arms out to the side. We're going to have one palm facing up, one palm facing down, and I want you to rotate round one way, then rotate all the way round to the other way, and go back and forth between the two. And you'll find quite a deep stretch through that forearm when you go around, and it'll be on when a palm's facing up and turning around and back. We get it on the inside of our arm, and the opposite as we go around. So just go back and forth between rotating one side and then the other. And this is quite an intense stretch all the way down our arm. If you need to do it with the arms slightly in, if it's too much to hold it out as well, you can do it with the arms lower. And then let's ease out of that. Give it a little shake off. Give it some rotations. Changing the direction. Good work. To finish off today, we're going to go into a little bit of mindfulness. So if you want to drink before we do this, feel free to do so. But when you've had your drink and you're ready to, just get into some breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth, relaxing down. I'm just going to grab my drink as well. And let's just go into closing our eyes down. Keep that breathing going in through the nose, out through our mouths. And just relax down. We're just going to create one of our scenes here today. We're going to go for our beach scene. So within our mind's eye, start to open up the visuals of your beach. Remember, with these, it can be something that you're familiar with, maybe an amalgamation of beaches that you're familiar with, or something completely made up and fantastical for you. However it is, just start to picture that scene, picture the sand, the sea, the sky, and whatever else is there, whether there's people, whether there's wildlife, whether there's sand dunes, whether there's buildings, whatever it may be, just start to picture up that scene, make it more real, bring the colors to life, notice how the light is on things, how it shines up different textures, whether it's the glistening in the water or the more matte look of the sand, or even if it's at sunset time and those pink hues come in. Just picture it however you want to picture it. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's just your scene that you're picturing. As you do that, start to bring in some of the sounds as well, whether that's the slight crashing of the waves, whether that's the birds chirping, whether there's some wind coming through or the chatter of people, whatever it may be, just start to bring in those sounds, fill out that scene, and help to make it more real within your mind's eye. As you do that as well, let's start to bring in some smells, whether that's the sea air. Maybe someone's having a barbecue on the beach and you can smell that nearby. I like just to imagine that fresh, crisp sea air. And just keep reinforcing each individual area, whether it's the sea, whether it's the sky, the sand, or whatever else may be there. Just reinforce it within your mind, with the visuals, the sounds, and the smells. And lastly, we're going to bring some touch into it, whether you imagine your feet are going through the sand, or whether you imagine you're picking some sand up through your fingers, or running your hands through the water, whatever it may be. Just get some form of touch in there with your environment, between you and the environment, and see how it feels within your mind's eye. Good work. Let's start to close that scene down, bring down all those senses as it starts to fade out. But keep the eyes closed here as we just thank ourselves for being here today. We turned up, we did the session, we stayed focused, and we're still here at the end, an hour later, having done another great mindful movement session. So give yourself a pat on the back, round of applause, however you want to thank yourself for being here. Slowly open up your eyes, come back to the room as we finish today's session.